Hello. Shirley, 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 Shirley. Now, y'all, Steve Harvey done had this woman to get on this show and, in my opinion, make herself look a little worse than she already did. Now, Steve promoted this strawberry letter as something that was going to be both Shirley and himself speaking on the rumors that had been placed onto the public, right? To the internet. And when I heard this, of course I knew what Shirley was going to talk about: her husband, his charges, and those released jail calls. But with Steve, I was expecting for this man to address the rumors of Marjorie cheating on him, which he did in some way. I was expecting for him to address the rumors of Big Boom, and he did nothing of the sort. So Shirley gets on them, and she's very emotional. She was nervous, and in my opinion, that lady did not want to do that. Now, this is an elderly woman. I think this woman is almost 90 years old, 80 years old. She looks great for her age. We ain't talking about that. We talking about the mental, right? Ain't nobody focused on her outer appearance, because yes, she looks good for her age. However, the situation that this lady is placed in is awful. Now, she is not street smart at all. This woman has no idea what it is to be played, look like to be played, feel like to be played. She's just in a game, and she's losing all the way around with her estranged husband, as she called him, and with her friend, who is also her boss. Now, she was very apologetic to Steve and Marjorie, which she immediately said that she had already apologized to them, but she wanted to do it on a public platform. So when myself and other people question where was her apology to her daughter, and people say, oh, she don't owe us that, she don't owe us nothing. Steve really don't owe us nothing, but we wanted y'all looking forward to it, right? So when the humiliation of her daughter and the disrespect of her daughter was made public, she needs to also give her daughter a public apology. And when I say humiliation, I'm talking about the things that was revealed on that phone call. Shirley said she thought that those calls were private. Baby, the people tell you have a call from a correctional facility. The calls may be monitored or recorded for training and security purposes. Ain't that what they say? I think that's what that recorder say. Next time my cousin call me, I'm going to listen to it and see what they say. But they let you know that the calls are being recorded. So even though it's just those two on the phone, he told her in a previous call that was shared, they record these calls. They listen to these calls. They record these calls. So she had to know that more than them two would be privy to those calls. No, they were not supposed to be made to the public, but baby, those calls were not private. However, she was speaking her true feelings on those calls. So when she said that Marjorie treats them like the help, she meant that. When she said that Steve was afraid of Marjorie, she meant that. And that was only verified for me when she apologized. Because normally when people, do apologies, they say, I'm sorry if I hurt you, or to those that I hurt, I didn't mean it, this, then the third. That woman ain't say that. That woman said, I was not trying to add on to what you and Marjorie already have going on. Well, what the hell they got going on? Because as Steve said it later on in this letter, with all these thousands of commercials that we care less about, they was good. They didn't have nothing going on, sitting up there lying like that. That woman said, she continually said, I'm not trying to add on to what you and Marjorie already have going on, what y'all are already going through. Lets us know that Steve, you and Marjorie are going through something. And not once did she say, I don't feel that way about Marjorie. Marjorie's a good woman. Marjorie's a nice woman. Marjorie makes us feel welcome. She didn't say that. So that lets me know that Marjorie really does treat them like the help. And that Steve, you are afraid of her. Shirley was her job on this strawberry letter was to convince the world that she was manipulated and played by her estranged husband, which could be true. It was to let the world know that Marjorie's a good woman, a nice woman, a caring woman, which she did not do. She failed miserably, and it was because that's just not in that woman. That woman ain't got time to be trying to keep up with Steve's lies and the image he's trying to portray to the world. She got her own hell going on. She done lost her house, her assets. She living with friends, broke, living check by check. And here comes Steve putting her on a public platform to speak on this to let the world eat her up even more. Because now she just look like an old weak woman. Shame on you, Steve. And then for him to get up there and call bloggers bottom feeders. Say what now? Not the man that used to be homeless. Not the man that was sleeping in a car with his ex-wife that he cheated on with his not current wife. And I don't care how many timelines you lay out. You're a liar and a cheat. And ain't nobody buying what you selling, Mr. Harvey. Now, he said Marjorie was on grandbaby duty. That the grandbaby was due any day. That still don't explain what the hell going on, what these people say going on with Big Boom. That man ain't mentioned Big Boom not one time. Instead, he deflected and he went to biblical sayings and he went the church route and depending black people, it's you black people, tearing black people down. This is nonsense. The same black people you calling bottom feeders. So you can't try to uphold to try to make people feel guilty and want them to be upheld at a different standard of saying, oh, we're black people, we need to stick together. But then again, you also degrading us black people by calling us names, low rating people. It's either one or the other. You either want black people to stand together and lift each other up, or you're going to be a part of the problem and low grade people. Steve said, don't nobody want their private thoughts made public. And I'm thinking the celebrities that y'all gossip about feel the same way. I'm thinking the celebrities that's made hot topics and that's being talked about daily, their personal and private business, they feel the exact same way. But when it's you and it's your turn, it's a problem. He said that people are destroying Marjorie's character. Baby, Marjorie's character wasn't just being destroyed these last 2 weeks. People been saying that woman, thanks to her very handsome ex-husband, she was a queen pin. She was in the drug game. That's a hood girl. And I'm liable to believe that there is no prenup and maybe he's trying to salvage this marriage of his. That's why he got up to speaking so highly of her, because I know she's upset and pissed off. Even though what Shirley said wasn't just dragging them. She was having a conversation with her husband. So, like most of us do when we talking to our spouse, our significant others, we gossip. And she was telling her true feelings. So Marjorie is, I'm quite sure, upset. And Shirley, how excited you was and amazement you was of their home. And you knew you wouldn't have been there if Marjorie was there. Not even if Marjorie ain't there, you'll never step foot back in that house. You would never step foot back in that house. But Marjorie, instead of her being upset about what Shirley said because of how Shirley felt, Marjorie should take a step back and wonder why people are feeling this way about her. Lady, what are you doing to make this senior citizen, which that's what she is, feel like you look down on her and the other employees? What is it about you? What comes off of you that makes people feel like you're this stuck up bitch? Because that's what they really saying. Steve, shut the hell up. What you saying just don't make no sense. You made the situation worse. Steve should have just been quiet. Because he say, we don't address the blogs. He said we don't address the blogs. We don't feed into negativity. Then what he do? Come and address the blogs. Feed into the negativity. And make the situation even worse. Because he thought he could throw people off by bigging Marjorie up. That's your wife. That's what you're supposed to do. He thought he could throw people off by giving his timeline of how he got with Marjorie a year after him and Mary divorced or whatever they did. And he was broke. And Marjorie was with him when he was broke. And she decided to help him build his wealth. And he just up and adopted her 3 children, 2 of which was grown or almost grown. And then threw his biological children to the curb. Sir, for that reason and that reason alone, you can never be trusted. In my eyes. Because a man or a woman that don't do right by their child, their children, cannot be trusted. And another thing that gets me is when Shirley was speaking and she was being very emotional. The cast, the crew, were trying to comfort her. They was consoling her with their words. We wanted to reach out. We care. We this, we that. They showed empathy. And I really feel like they really felt that way for her. But when Steve started talking about him and Marjorie, them people got quiet. They said nothing. Because they really know what's going on for real. So all this mess you trying to throw into the world and throw out here in the universe and into the air, hoping that we catch it, baby, it's going to fall flat each time. They don't believe you. We don't believe you. And Shirley say divorce proceedings are on the way. Now, I'm curious to know if these divorce proceedings, why now? Steve kept saying, oh, you got to look at the timeline. Got to look at the timeline. These calls were made a year ago and they're just not being released. Why is that? So it can add to the timeline of Marjorie cheating on you and not wanting to be with you. For it to add some validation. Because like he said, these aren't rumors. These are coming from an inside source. They're not rumors. They're coming from an inside source. Validating it. So when the story is out there, okay, Marjorie don't want Steve, she's cheating on him. He can easily say that's not true. But then you got Shirley saying, oh, Marjorie's not at the house. I don't know where she is. Marjorie treats us like the help. Steve's scared of her. That adds a little validation to the story. So what was your purpose of pointing out the timeline, sir? Because it didn't help nothing what you was trying to get it to help. Shut the hell up. Whoo, Lord, these people are crazy. But back to my point, I would like to know why Shirley is now filing for divorce after these calls have been released. Because she says she hasn't spoken to her husband in months, which calls, jailhouse calls or whatever the blog is, verified that and said that there hasn't been a call made to Shirley since April of this year. And between February and April, her and Ernesto really wasn't talking much. So this is, I'm curious to, I'm wondering if she wants a divorce because she's really coming to terms with what this man has done and who he really is, or because she found out he was cheating on her, or just the complete humiliation of it all. And it's just taking a toll on her. Because when she said Steve told her you're too old to lose everything you work for, that's a fact. She has more years behind her than in front of her. And starting over at this time, this day and age, at the age she is and the rate everything's going, that's not a good look. But it also wasn't a good look for Steve to put that woman out there like that. Like she's begging him for his forgiveness. And what she said, I mean, she really didn't, I didn't take it as if she was dragging him. So I really want to know now what Marjorie's thinking and what she's saying to Steve after all of this has come out. That it made him get this woman on this radio show and do this to herself. You have a lot of people rallying for Shirley, saying they feel bad for her. They're praying for her. Ernesto's a piece of which he is. But the lack of remorse she's showing for her daughter and her grandkids will not allow me to feel any pity for this woman. I'm sorry. And I could be wrong. I could be reading the situation wrong. It could be like what most people are commenting. She could have apologized to her daughter in private. Could have. She apologized to Steve and Marjorie in private, but she still made it her business to do that on a public platform. It's something about this ain't sitting well with me. Because this letter could have been more so focused on Steve and Marjorie. And Shirley would have taken the lesser of the blow. Being that she's already, everything, all her business already out there. That would have been the more genuine thing for Steve to do. He should have taken more of the, well, let me explain what's going on with my situation. Instead of having this woman really put her heart on her sleeve and get out there for all this public scrutiny. But that's just my opinion. And who the hell am I? Y'all, we're going to keep our eyes and ears open because this is far from over.